Welcome everyone to my channel. If you've been here before, hold a seat, sit down. We are going to talk about Wither's Legacy by John Passarella or J.G. Passarella, whichever way you have it written down. I think he had been in that back when he wrote the first one, which is just Wither. So Wither's Legacy is the last one in the series. So she came to life on Halloween. She cast a wake spell upon the residents of Wynndale, Massachusetts, and then she was destroyed. But Elizabeth Wither, the leader of an ill-fated coven of witches, still hunts the one human powerful enough to dispel her ancient curse, the supernaturally gifted Wendy Ward. Hers was the name on the dying Wither's lips. The time will come. And now that Wynndale's little witch girl is all grown up, and she, along with her friends Kayla, Abby, and Hannah, must face a demon like none the world's ever known, an unseen evil that bides its time. A yellow-eyed, 7-foot beast whose blind allegiance to Wither feels its hunger captive to the urge to find its special prey. This starts off with it beginning like almost directly after Wither reign happens, where this creature wakes up, feeds, and then goes back to sleep because it's not winter time, and it dwells really well in winter. So since it wasn't winter time, it went back to sleep. Almost a year later, while Wendy's traveling, she's in Winnipeg. I don't remember where in Winnipeg or where Winnipeg is. Doesn't really matter. And she's trying to figure out what was spoken to her by Gina Thorne as Wither was dying. Because Gina Thorne was Wither reincarnated. And she reactivated the curse that Wither had placed upon her by accident. Not realizing that what she was trying to remember was the curse. And that she should never just remembered it. So, because she activated Wither's curse, a creature comes out from underneath the ground from its sleep and starts hunting Wendy. Now, Wendy gets a warning from the crone, who is Hannah's future self, about what's happening. And that she was actually trying to warn her beforehand, but she missed, about it and not to do what she was going to do, which is basically speak the curse out loud. But she missed it, so the crone's like, well, now a lot of people are going to die. Many people are going to die. It's going to be horrible. Many people are going to die. So, because of that, Wendy leaves Winnipeg to start heading off to see her boyfriend, Alex, who lives in a completely different area. She goes to this inn to spend the night and can't sleep because it's New Year's Eve, and she decides that she's just going to take off again. And while she's in the process of taking off, a truck plows into the main office of the inn. She immediately rushes in, using her magic to protect herself, to try to save the guy that's trapped inside of it, while trying to see who's in the truck and the truck bed. Well, the two guys in the truck were beheaded. The one she thought she saw in the truck bed was gone. And then she saves the dude who was pinned. Well, the dude in the back of the truck was actually a disguised creature that Wither had raised up through her curse. And it had disappeared because it had tried to attack Wendy, but Wendy's force pushed it into fire. So it was severely wounded. So it went into the woods, burrowed underneath the snow, and laid there. Wendy made it to Alex's. So, good there. But the crone visited her again and told her that bad things were happening and that she needed to talk to Kayla. Now, Kayla was getting these nightmares about Wither and the specific area, but she didn't understand anything else about it. But she did wig out thinking that maybe she had black blood, because she went to where Ezekiel owned the farm that was gone through the generations, and she had lost time there, and she had freaked out thinking that she had black blood again. So she actually slices her arm to see if she's got black blood, but she doesn't, so yay on that point. She has no black blood. Okay, so that's there. A lot of shit happens in this book. A lot of stuff happens in the book, and I mean like a lot. And you get the side of the creature. Now the creature, while it's sleeping and trying to heal itself from the fire, dreams about its past and who it was. It was a guy a very long time ago who was on his way home from selling a bunch of shit. And they get attacked by a bear. But it's not a bear. It's actually a Wendigo. Now, this Wendigo scratches him, and he becomes not a true Wendigo, but like a human-turned Wendigo. And he's part of the winter now. Because apparently Wendigos survive more in the winter than they do anything else. Because of that, he actually goes to his home where his wife and his daughter is, and he actually eats them and kills them, obviously, at one point. And then he just goes into hibernation, I guess, at one point, where he just rests in hibernation till the Wither's curse wakes him up. So you learn a little bit about that. Now, Abby, who is a shapeshifter who can turn into a wolf, has been trying to turn into an eagle because she wants to fly. And Wendy gives her advice saying, don't force a change. Let your bones do whatever the hell they want to do. Well, not with hell in it, but let your bones do what they want to do. So that way you can just shapeshift without forcing it. So that's what she does. And she turns into a red-tailed hawk instead. Which was a good thing because she does use it in the end to help out with defeating the monster, the Wendigo. So when she meets Alex, Wendy does, she speaks to Alex. They have some time and celebrations, and she's like, well, I got to go back home. And he's like, well, I'm going to come with you because I want to make this relationship work. Okay? So Wendy, who's still horrified by what happened to him, about him who was a track star, no longer able to run because of his injured leg, inability to heal the leg when it first happened because of weather, agrees to allow him to drive. He actually wigs out on the drive because the crone appears in the back seat and it freaks him out a little bit. So Wendy sits there and decides to practice a bunch of magic so that way she can get a handle on this and be able to protect herself and others around her from the Wendigo through the crone's advice. It works. Okay? It works. It works in the end. Tricks the Wendigo quite well and makes it a lot more difficult to do things. Kayla, who's in a relationship with this cop named Bobby, who she's freaked out already for cutting a knife, freaks him out a little bit more about a few things, gets together with Wendy when she gets back, with Alex and them, and they go back to this farmhouse, which, of course, they thought trespassing, you know? But Wendy's like, I own the place, so it's fine. Kayla can come on the land whenever she wants. They find the stone altar that Kayla was drawn to, and they find within it a journal. Now, this is Wither's journal from before she turned into the monster until her last cycle. And it explains how Elizabeth and Sarah, the reason why they chose what they chose, and everything. Sarah wanted a new body that would be able to change because Sarah wanted to fly. So she gave the ability to Abby. So that way, when she took over and implanted her consciousness into it, Abby's bones would be able to shapeshift into whatever it was that Sarah wanted to fly as or become. So that's how she got the shapeshifter abilities. Now, Rebecca, who chose Hannah as a baby, an unborn baby, decide to accelerate her age, most likely possibly up until she reached adulthood, and then she would probably slow back down. So that's why she's accelerating, or she's only 2 years. She looks like a 5-year-old. She's not mentally prepared for the world either. But because Rebecca never got to transfer her consciousness into Hannah, Hannah is just dealing with this acceleration and the fact that she can contact her future self, who her future self can go back into the past and warn Wendy of events that are happening to prevent the worst outcome or to give her the most advice that will help her out in the best way possible. Elizabeth, of course, had chosen Wendy, but then had, of course, taken over Gina Thorne in the previous book, and had tried to make Kayla part of her coven. Now, this is why Kayla's all involved in it. So, when they know the end Wendigo is coming for her, they have figured it out. Police have figured a lot of things out about him. And the Wendigo, no ma'am, don't do that. The Wendigo has become very smart, and it's hiding the fact that it's killing people. And so they don't know how close the Wendigo is to Wendell. So the sheriff, who knows all about this, who's trying to protect everybody, gets silver tip bullets made, gets the Alex's cane tipped in silver to help them out with the Wendigo. And he sets up round-the-clock care, round-the-clock service, like, hey, you're going to be watching Wendy and her home for the 24 hours until we catch the bad guy. At first, he explained it as a crazy serial killer that wanted to kill Wendy. And then when they actually saw the Wendigo, they were like, oh shit, this is really serious. They did lose several people in the fight that it did ensue at a theater in the end. Actually, before that, too. One of them was Kirk Bade. He was killed. So that way the Wendigo could assume its identity to get inside the house that Wendy was inside of. But it realized, because Kayla's body shows the black blood, so he felt the betrayal of Kayla when he was tricked and almost harmed severely. Went to go grab Kayla, who was with her mother, and the cook at the place that her mother worked at. And the cook died, of course, trying to defend them. Her mother was protected, and Kayla was kidnapped to the Palace Cinema, which is movie theaters. There, the creature was trying to get the information out of her for the curse and how it was still powerful. And she's like, I don't know, dude. At first she was like, I know, but then I don't know. Abby was used to find where they were because nobody knew where they were. Alex was driving around with Wendy and her astral projection, finds out what it is, and they finally get there. And then the police show up, sheriff and Bobby and all them show up. Bobby got bitten by the Wendigo. Well, not bitten, he got slashed, so he's starting to change. Okay. Sheriff Nottingham dies. Unfortunately. Abby's adopted father dies. Of course, Abby's adopted mother comforts her, saying that he was a sheriff, he was doing what he could to protect people. And I think you're the same way, Abby, that you just want to protect people that you love, and that's why you did what you did to save Wendy, to save your father. And she's like, Mom, I love you. Let me explain everything that's going on. So she shows her adopted mother her abilities so her mother can understand. Because apparently her mother was read in the riot act after her husband died. Which, completely, she knew some of it, but not all of it. She should have known all of it from the very beginning so she could be massively prepared for, like, anything that was going wrong. So there was a big battle. And in the end, between Alex shooting it, Bobby shooting it, Sheriff Nottingham shooting it, and the sword going through him, the Wendigo does eventually die. And Wendy, who notices that Bobby isn't still transformed yet because he does get shot by Kayla trying to prevent him from killing people, realizes that the blood is still red. So he's not completely transformed yet. So what she decides to do is burn the body of the Wendigo, the one that transformed that hit him. And it works. He does not transform. He goes back to being normal. So now both Kayla and Bobby, who are in a relationship, are tighter than ever because they both went through the whole almost changing into somebody else with her. And of course, Abby is still accelerated growing, and Hannah's still accelerated growing. Abby is still changing into different forms, and Wendy is still learning magic. Now, she hasn't decided, she knows that there's probably going to be more coming after him, even though this is the last book in the series. She believes that there's going to be more coming after her. So she wants to leave Wendell and keep him out of the trouble, but she also wants to leave Alex behind. But Alex is like, dude, I want to finish up my stuff. I want to be with you. I want to make this work somehow. I want to make it all work. And that's the end of it, really. My favorite character is Alex because he's like, I love you, Wendy, and I want to make shit work, and I don't care about the risks and the dangers of being with you. Let me be with you. So he's like, I want to make this work. I want to make us a couple because I love you, and I know we can make this work in some way, shape, or form. My least favorite is, of course, the Wendigo. Who was this dude? I forgot his name, and he's not really that matter. That was brought back to kill Wendy. It's terrible. So, what did I think of the ending of the book? I like how it wrapped up pretty much everything except for Wither's curse. Was talking about how again and again she would be attacked. So there's like 2 more possible attackers coming after him. But we know Wendy will be fine because Wendy is learning, and she has a crone to help her learn everything she needs to know, and she's got more time now to prepare herself for the other 2 that will most likely be attacking her in the future. Alright, I'm popping this in here because I forgot to tell you about my favorite quote and favorite passage, which I don't really think I have a favorite quote or even a favorite passage, but I do. Okay, this is my favorite quote. When they're trying to read Wither's journal, which is got squiggly lines and weird symbols, and they couldn't figure it out. Don't tell me, Kayla said, you see dead people. That's pretty cool. I like that. My favorite passage would be when she, so she stopped, turned to the right, and looked across the covered driveway at the hotel entrance and saw him leaning against the wall half there. In a navy blue ski parka and gloves, tan course, scuffed Timberland boots, and, of course, his new steel-rimmed Avatar sunglasses. He stood next to a brown metal bench, a Minnesota Timberwood duffel bag at his feet, black leather computer bag hanging from his right shoulder. So she was planning on leaving to go back home, and he literally surprises her by showing up at her hotel, just literally waiting there for 2 hours for her to come down, worried that he was going to miss her going back to Wendell. And he's like, I want to ride with you. Because he wants to work it out. It's so cute. Let's see. Did it live up my expectations? I actually enjoyed this a little bit more than I did Wither's Reign. I don't really know why. I guess because Wither's Reign didn't seem like it was a good natural lead-all into Wither's legacy and everything. But this being Wither's legacy, like where she literally leaves behind a curse to continue on Wither's work of trying to destroy Wendy for destroying her body, seemed more of a natural step in the right direction. As you know, this is actually a 3-book series. It's called Wither's Wendy Ward, a Wendy Ward novel. There's 3 of them in it: Wither, Wither's Reign, and Wither's Legacy. That's about it. By John Passarella. I'm trying to think of what else is on my thing. I'm going to give this a 3.5 because it was pretty good, but I don't think it's 4-star material or even 5-star material because there was a lot of things that I didn't really like. The way it was, the way she was lurching from one problem to the next without any real solutions to what was happening. She could not solve all of it, and she had to rely a lot of it on the crone and other people helping her. I really would have liked it if it was like more in the future where she was more prepared, but the stakes were higher. Like say she and Alex were married and they had a kid on the way, or they had a kid and the stakes were higher in that regard. Would have made it a little more interesting in my book. But if you guys think I deserve a like, comment, and your lovely subscription, would you go ahead and drop it down below. I will see you next illusion.